Test. 1, 2, 3. Is that a little better? Not so much yet. We have a sound control maybe? Thanks, Kristen. How about I talk loud just to get us going, and then you can give me a cue if you're having a hard time hearing me. We'll hopefully make the adjustment. Well, welcome to the White House. My name is Jay Hine. I direct the White House Office of Faith-Based and Community Initiatives. And it's my honor to welcome you to this very special place. As a matter of fact, yesterday we were in this room talking about orphans and vulnerable children, and the speaker at the podium was an award-winning recording artist, shall be unnamed for purposes of this anecdote, because he stood here. I mean, he has performed before thousands and tens of thousands, but he stood at this podium and he said, "I'm pretty nervous. I was wondering last night if I was going to be able to pull this off because of the real estate that we're on and the history that comprises this place." And so I tell that story not to make our speakers nervous, because you shouldn't be, because the whole purpose of yesterday's conversation and today is to use this valuable piece of real estate to talk about what really matters and to turn over the podium, not just to government officials that have the privilege of working here, but to the real leaders in society whose hearts are broken when a child's parent is in prison, or family is fragmented, or they're struggling in school, or all the other things that call you into service on a day-to-day basis. You stand up and you say, "That's unacceptable in my community, and that's unacceptable in my sphere of influence, and I can do something about that." And you not only let your heart be broken, but you use that to form a conviction to go make a difference. And you don't wait for government to act, but hopefully government will be your partner. That's indeed the essence of what our initiative is all about, not only in the White House, but in federal agencies across government, and hopefully penetrating down to state capitals and city halls as well, so that we can be enablers of your good work. But you are the problem solvers, and so for us to be able to say, "Welcome to the White House," and the microphone is yours. You need to tell us your story. You need to cast vision about where we need to go next, because you're experts. You know what works, you know what doesn't, and why. And for that reason that we formed this series called Compassion in Action, because it is in action all across the country, indeed all across the globe, with the privilege of working with faith-based and community groups in many places on every conceivable social problem. And so these events are once a month an opportunity for us to do a few things at once, to define burden and to say it is unacceptable that the dropout. I'm going to talk a little softer now. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Plugging it in, I guess I could have thought of that. To say that a third of our youth that drop out of school, unacceptable. We have 650,000 prisoners returning to communities. Every communities near us, our communities, every year, with a 2/3 rearrest rate, so say statistics, unacceptable. So many other issues that you could define to us, but then to be able to say, mentoring makes a difference. A life on a life makes a difference. The caring of one person for another. What you know as experts in the mentoring field is that mentoring is transformative. It's obviously transformative to the person being served. When somebody throws their life into a child who's suffering distress, you'll hear so many of those remarkable stories today, but also to these adults. They're trying to find a second chance in life. And the welcoming committee outside the prison gate isn't the social network that got them into the prison, but instead somebody that really wants to join him or her and hoping that they never have to go back, and finding housing, which will be hard, and a job will be hard. You'll hear some of that story too. But we also know that mentoring is transformative to the mentor, because we get to see, for those of us of faith, our faith work itself out in remarkable ways. For those of us of goodwill, get to see loving relationships form. We get to learn from one another. And research shows, I suspect you'll hear that from the smart researchers we have today too, that mentees become mentors. That there's really a revolution that is happening, I think, in mentoring and in volunteerism. I'm joined at the White House with remarkable leaders such as David Eisner. David, could I embarrass you and have you stand up? Many of you know David, and maybe not all of you do. I'm sure those that work with David appreciate him as much as I do, because he's a terrific thought leader, but he's also a very action-oriented doer, and he thinks like I do, that we just get to serve the servants. You know, we get to articulate vision, and we get to champion, hopefully effectively, your causes, but our real value is in policy and money and processes, sort of systems change to try and create a better environment for you to do what you do. So the Bush administration citizenship agenda, which David leads, and Henry Lozano, who I don't think is here, but a number of you know, directs the USA Freedom Corps, and I get to serve as colleagues to David. And so when things like Martin Luther King Day happened a couple days ago, and the corporation and David say, you know, on behalf of government, that we're going to join you leaders on a day on, not a day off, and we have the largest, didn't we, David, level of participation ever.
More than 500,000.
500,000 people all across the country, and 5,000 service projects or something like that. You know, that doesn't happen by itself. You know, the spirit of volunteerism does, but it takes organization, and it takes discipline, and it takes intentionality, and it takes leaders such as yourself doing that. So we have a citizenship agenda. We attempt to lead and to serve in a way that grows it, the supply of compassion. We're big believers that while problems are innovatively solved by the social sector, need still outpaces us. You know, there's still more need than there is that supply, so we want to be in the supply side of this equation. And we test some projects. You'll hear a bit about this today. We say, let's try and form new partnerships and try new solutions, such as mentoring children prisoners. And we're going to use this as an introduction to our keynote speaker. When we think of the problem that is children who have an incarcerated parent, and we think of course, the consequences of their family situation and the statistics that prove they're probably not pointed in the right direction, and realize there's a couple million of these children, and we have people like Wilson Good that say unacceptable, and there is a better way. And so 5 or 6 or 7 years ago, innovation fills the void of the question, what should we do about this? And you'll hear the Reverend Dr. Wilson Good talk about that innovation. But before he does that, I want to celebrate the fact that that innovation is now a revolution. You know, there is this Amachi program you'll hear about today, and it's proliferating. But there's also an industry of you who now know about that problem, care about that problem, and are engaged in that problem. And so we can't control that. We can't program that anymore. We can put a few $100 million into a demonstration project called Mentoring Children Prisoners. We're very proud of that. We're having remarkable outcomes. It's a value add to the movement that Wilson helped lead. And Prisoner Reentry Initiative is another example, and again, you'll hear a little bit about that today as well, which is similarly a way for us to test innovation to see if we couldn't find volunteers that are willing to put a life on a life and mentor these men and women, train them to do so, equip them to do so, and then launch them into service. And so we put hundreds of $millions on top of that, not to fix the problem, because as much money as that is, it's not a dent when it comes to solving the problem systemically. But if we can use it to test new solutions and push forward innovation and create more systemic innovation as a result to transfer that innovation, we can get from here to there. And so we couldn't think of a better person than Wilson Good to tell us his story, to kick it off, because he led this innovation. And he taught us that it is possible. Many of you know the Reverend Dr. Wilson Good, of course, because he's a pioneer. He teaches us that mentoring takes many forms, not only the mentoring we'll hear about in a practical, direct form today, but he's a mentor. He's a mentor to me, and he's a mentor to many of us that want to do better in our place of influence and service in the field and in policy. He served 2 terms as a mayor of Philadelphia. He teased earlier today when we were chatting that he became a better mayor progressively throughout the days that he was out of office, and that's in part, I think, because of the nature of politics. He was admired and appreciated so much more for, sort of subsequently to his time in service. I don't know what that says about being a public servant these days, but I'm glad we have courageous people still willing to do it. But what I want to say is the depth of his character and the strength of his leadership indeed was made more evident after he left City Hall, because he served well when he was in government, but he showed that private citizens can act in the public interest. And he showed that the public platform isn't a synonymous platform as government. It's for all those reasons. I'm delighted to invite my friend to the podium, indeed to welcome all you leaders here today, and as I'm as excited as you are to hear the good words that our friends are going to share. Dr. Good, welcome.
Thank you all so much. When Jay was having difficulty with the microphone, I did note that the young man who came in to plug into the right plug. And what that means for all of us here is that you have to be plugged into the right source. In this Office of Faith-Based Initiatives, that you were plugged into the wrong source. And whenever you plugged into the wrong source, you will suffer the consequences of that. That's my sermon for Sunday that I just got when I was there. So I deeply appreciate. I'm so delighted to be here and to take these 8 or 9 minutes I've been given to try and say a few words of challenge to you. And I always start with this story, that there is a village in Kenya, and in that village there's a tribe called the Masai Tribe. And they're known because they are mighty warriors. They are fierce defenders of their villages, fierce fighters. But I speak of them this morning not because they are fierce fighters or defenders of the women and children. I speak of them because of the way they greet one another, not the way we do. We say good morning, or good afternoon, or good evening. They greet each other with a question. And the question is, how are the children? Not good morning, but how are the children? Not good afternoon, but how are the children? In that context, I would note that we have the largest prison population per capita of any nation in the world. And on any given day, there are 2.2 million inmates in federal and state prison and local jail. And there are about 2.1 million children with a parent either in federal or state prison. And about 60% of these children are under 10 years of age. And studies show that children of inmates are 5 to 6 times more likely than their peers to someday become incarcerated. And indeed, generations of families are found in many federal and state prisons. I went to a prison about 4.5 years ago and saw in that prison a grandfather, a father, and a grandson, all in the same prison at the same time. And I learned that they met for the first time in prison. As I was about to leave, the grandson pulled me aside and said to me, "I have a son that I've never seen, and I guess I will see him for the first time in prison too." Those of us who work every single day in this field know that that story is not unique. I've seen it repeated in Tennessee, in Oklahoma, in Kansas, and throughout the country. It was because of this that in 1998, Dr. John DiIulio started writing about children of incarcerated parents. And he started writing about them first as being super predators. And then as a transformation took place in his life, he started to ask the question, is there some way that we can intervene in the lives of these children and help to transform them and turn their lives around? He was at that time on the board of Public-Private Ventures, where I work, on the board of Big Brothers Big Sisters of America, on the board of Prison Fellowship. So he had all of the actors all in one place. So about 10 years ago, this whole idea of mentoring children of prisoners started to take form. And in 1999, Pew Charitable Trust funded this program. The program took shape in the year 2000. I came aboard and worked with Dr. DiIulio and worked with folks at Public-Private Ventures. And we crafted a program that was called the Amachi program. Amachi is a Nigerian Igbo word that means who knows but what God has brought us through this child. And in on July 4th of 2001, President Bush came to Philadelphia and spent some time with the program at a block party, celebrating these matches, celebrating these big brothers and little brothers and big sisters and little sisters in the middle of Broad Street. And then he returned on December 8th, 2002, and spent some time at a round table. Table was rounder than this one, at a round table. And spent some time at a round table talking to mentees and mentors about their experiences. And that same year, Big Brother Big Sisters of America funded an expansion of the Amachi program to 12 agencies across the country. And then in the State of the Union address in January of 2003, President Bush outlined his desire to have a mentoring children of prisoners program for the entire nation, and said at that time it was going to ask for funding of $150 million over 3 years. And so it was because of this funding that this whole idea of intervening in the lives of children of incarcerated parents took shape, and it's been able to spread indeed all across this country. And other agencies, the Corporation for National and Community Service has joined in with its foster grandparents program, its senior corps program, and doing amazing things with the program. And have been Vista and AmeriCorps members have all joined in. And in 2005, the first state, Texas, joined by funding a program statewide in Texas. And now 9 other states, I will mention Tennessee because Laurel Perry is here, Tennessee also joining in. And now, in this past year, Governor Edmund Dell of Pennsylvania put $2 million in the budget for mentoring children of prisoners program in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. So the program has spread throughout. And since 2000, federal, state, city, and foundation funding have resulted in more than 100,000 children being served in 358 programs and 258 cities in all 50 states. That's an amazing record that took place over a period of time. But it's not only the numbers. It's not only the numbers. It is also the fact that we are transforming lives in the process. We're transforming lives in the process. We're changing the outcome of children in the process. The Amachi model is a one-to-one community-based mentoring program based upon the Big Brothers Big Sisters one-to-one mentoring program. And what that means is at least 51% of those who mentored, those who are volunteering to mentor children of incarcerated parents must come from local congregations, local faith-based organizations. And there are several thousand congregations across the country now who've joined in this process. I made the point to Jay Heim earlier that the one thing that has been done by the president is that he has leveled the playing field so that faith-based organizations and congregations now have a seat at the table and feel they have a right to be involved in this process. The Amache program is a one-to-one community-based mentoring program. There are monthly reports required and then information provided from performers that also result in research. Let me just close by saying just two things to you, and that is this, that this program, working and mentoring children of incarcerated parents, requires personal passion. And I told someone yesterday that you have to be outrageously loyal to do outrageous things on behalf of this program, and sometimes even ridiculous things, like flying in late last night from North Carolina, getting up at 3 o'clock this morning to come here to speak to all of you. But it seems to me it's all worthwhile because of two things. One is that what we know is that mentoring works. From the research, we know that one-to-one relationship works. And what we've found as we've surveyed agencies across this country, all those I've enumerated, what we've found out is that if you look at what they do, that about 2/3 of those children improve their grades. 2/3 of them improve their behavior. 2/3 of them improve their attendance in school. And 90% of them form more lasting relationships. But you know, if I've never seen any statistic, I know on first-hand basis it works. Because I'm the son of an incarcerated father. When I was 14 years of age, my father went to prison. And while he was in prison, my family relocated from the rural South to Philadelphia. And when I went to enroll in high school there, my high school counselor said, don't even think about the academic scores. You came from a farm, we'll put you in an industrial arts course. I fought hard to get out of it and finally got in academic scores. But upon graduation, I wanted to go to college. And she said to me, don't embarrass yourself and your family by attempting to go to college. But it was intervention on the part of my local pastor and his wife, who said to me, you should go to college. You can go to college. You can succeed in college. And took up their nickels and dimes and quarters and dollars and $5 and sent me off to Morgan State University. And the rest is history. So I just challenge you by saying that if I could, as a son of an incarcerated father, with the intervention of a mentor, two mentors, at a critical point in my life, go on and become mayor of the 4th largest city in the country. And then behind that, go on and become a part of a national movement to turn the lives of children around. Why wouldn't I do so? And so Amache says, who knows but what God has brought us through this child? And who knows but what God can bring us through all these incredible children? If but we simply went out and did everything that we could do to begin to invest in these young people. Every day, every hour, to begin to try and make the lives of these children better by what you do. I'm so glad to be here, and what I commit to as I approach my 70th birthday, I promise you that I will keep working on this until I cannot work any longer. And as they say in the Old West, I will die with my boots on, working on behalf of children of incarcerated parents. Thank you all so much. Now I want to invite Gretchen and Erin to come up, and I want to just pose a few questions to them. I'm on schedule. I stay within my 8 minutes. Good morning, both of you.
Good morning.
Gretchen, why did you decide to become a mentor?
Well, I had wanted to get involved in my community. When I was in college, I first heard about mentoring programs and was interested in that. And then getting out, I had done some teaching in college and decided I wasn't really ready for a teaching career quite yet, but that I knew I wanted to have some kind of educational role. And since my job wasn't really providing that, I decided to pursue mentoring programs that I'd heard about. Another reason, I was a pretty shy child myself and had a lot of good mentors from teachers and my mother, and know that I've been very fortunate in my life and that a lot of children don't have the same opportunities I've had, and I wanted to be able to draw on my strengths and be able to just provide myself as a resource to a child that might need some little extra attention or to be able to get out of the house and do some fun activities. And I was really interested in mentoring because of the one-on-one, I guess, tutoring. I'd done tutoring in college as well, and I really liked that kind of powerful connection you can make just working with one other person and the ways that it can draw out your own strengths and the strengths of the other person.
Erin, good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
Fine.
How old are you?
12. 12.
You're 12 years old. Now, when you grow up and get to be 70 years old, like I'm almost now, you can tell your grandchildren that at 12 years of age, you spoke at the White House. How's that? Now, why did you want a mentor?
It sounded fun. I would get to go to lots of new places I've never been. I would be less shy because I would have to talk a lot with a new person. Other people would think it would be cool that I have a mentor. Also, I might get to do fun things like do a trust walk.
Do you think it's cool? How cool is it, Erin?
Exciting.
Exciting. But Erin, is it cool?
Yeah.
Both of you, tell me some exciting activities that you engage in during your visits. Erin, you can go first.
The day we did backwards things like we ate breakfast for dinner and went ice skating in the middle of summer.
You went ice skating in the middle of the summer.
It was an indoor rink.
I was going to ask them where you found the ice. Okay. All right. What kind of things have you done beyond that, Gretchen?
One of the things that was on both our lists that we came up with was we've gone hiking together, and I'll just tell a really quick story. The first hike we went on together, I had a little backpack of water for Erin, and we get up there and he's like, I've never really been hiking before, and was just really excited to be out in the forest and exploring, and it was really beautiful day. We got to the top and you could see both the city I live in and the city he lives in from the top, and he takes off his backpack. It's like, whoa, I've never sweated before. And it was just a really good experience to be able to take him out of the city and into nature and explore some new territory.
So Erin, tell me something. Was she able to hang in there with you?
Yes.
Okay. Gretchen, what would you tell others who are undecided about mentoring?
I guess I would tell people that it's a very challenging thing to do. I was pretty daunted initially thinking about mentoring by the weight of it, the relationship, and just making a commitment to somebody I've never met. Our program's a year-long commitment formally, but they encourage us to continue to have a lifetime relationship. And so to think that I would be taking somebody out, every week and then having this kind of lifetime commitment was a pretty scary proposition. But meeting Erin and his family, I realized just what an honor it is and what a scary thing it is, more so for Erin, to get into my car every week and go to these new places. And
Erin, is she a good driver?
Yeah.
let's hope. But it's just such a special experience because I'm in such a unique position in his life. I mean, there's other people that can be mentors, like teachers or coaches or his older siblings, but I think one thing that Erin knows is that I'm a person that really chooses to be in his life, that I'm somebody that when I show up every week, he knows I'm there and I have a certain kind of commitment to him because I'm interested in him and because I care about the activities we do together, and I really want to see him succeed in life. And I just get really excited about the way our relationship has grown and developed, and to see him get braver about activities. And he used to only like to go to this one drive-in and order the same meal, and over the course of time I've got him to be more open to going new places and even Washington, D.C. And he doesn't have the same kind of resistance to it that he used to. And so just to see him open up is such an amazing experience.
Erin, what's your favorite meal?
Hamburger and fries.
Why am I not surprised at
I don't
hamburger? Gretchen, has this relationship changed you? If so, how? And tell us about it.
Okay. It has. I expected mentoring, I guess, to open my eyes to new issues that I haven't grown up with. I guess what I didn't expect was for the relationships to be as impactful as they've been. And Erin's from a very large family, and I've gotten close not only to Erin but also his siblings and his mother as well, and developed relationships with other mentors and mentees that we've had some outings with, and just feeling this deep community involvement. And I guess on a deeper, more profound level for me, just realizing how precious and hard to earn trust is.